Jamie.
How you going?
Obviously a disappointing result against Wellington when it looked like you had the 3 points in the bag. How do you reflect on that one?
Yeah, you can look at it as 2 points dropped, given our standards and being at home, we always want to win games, and we've reflected on it. We know that the second half wasn't good enough from our end, and we let them back in the game. Credit to Wellington, they are a good team, but at the same time, we let ourselves down, and now it's about moving on, and we've got Perth tomorrow at home, and we know that we need to start games how we have been and continue that in the second half.
It's probably not your focus at the moment, but I'm sure it's affected a lot of the City fans seeing Bruno Fornaroli rock up at victory. It's a pretty big story for the league.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I messaged Bruno. We've got a very good relationship, and I messaged him all the best. He's a great guy. He's done the business for Melbourne City. I know there will be fans that aren't happy, and everyone's got an opinion on that, and rightly so. But he's a great guy. It didn't work out for him at Perth. I don't know the reasons, but he's now a rival player in a derby, and it'll set up for a great Christmas derby. And he'll score goals there and do well. But my focus is obviously Melbourne City and scoring goals for this club.
What's the scouting report on Glory? Is it just don't give Gio Colli any space outside the box?
Yeah, good young kid. Fantastic goal he scored. I mean, no one really. Yeah, they just backed off and he hit it from about 35 yards, and Joe just stood there. So a good young talent, but they've got some good young players over at Perth Glory. And I played with Ruben, so I know the mentality that he'll be driving into that squad, and we'll be up for a tough game. We know that.
And I forgot to ask Paddy actually. Nuno Reis was in this extended squad last time, and then didn't. I don't think he made the bench against Wellington. Any chance he comes back in this week? Because with Thomas Lamb being suspended.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, Nuno's been training for a couple of weeks, but when you do have a hammy, you can't get thrown straight into the deep end. You've got to sort of ease it in. But with Thomas out, I reckon that Nuno will be a shout to sort of feature. Don't know at what capacity, but I believe Nuno will be back in the squad. Yeah.
Jasper, I'm pretty sure you've got some Socceroos questions.
Yeah, Jamie, I was going to ask. Obviously, Socceroos squad early next week, probably going to be announced. What would it mean to possibly be selected in that team again alongside some of your teammates at City who are also in that sort of selection frame?
Yeah, like I've always said and previously, it would mean everything, but you only get picked due to form, fitness, health, and a lot of factors that need to be ticked. And a lot of us at Melbourne City have been playing and doing well, and all you can do is control what you can control, and that's keeping your head down, working hard, and being in the right mindset. So, we've got a game tomorrow to impress again, and like I said, the squad will be named, I assume, after the weekend, and what will be will be.
Marco Tilio is someone who's sort of, I guess, on the fringes there. You were there the day that he made his debut for the Socceroos. What have you seen from him this season so far, and what makes him such a good teammate to play with?
I think with Marco, you've seen a different character now that he realises that his game can go to another level, and with him he understands his role in the team, and whether he's going to start or he's going to come off the bench, he needs to make an impact, and he's done both. He can do it from the start and from the bench, and it's important for players to know that you're never going to be a guaranteed starter, but if you do come on, you need to make that impact and give us that energy, and he does, and he creates things. He beats players 1v1s, he wins you penalties, he wins you free kicks in good areas, so he's dangerous. He can play on either side or in the number 10 role, which he has done in the past last season. So good kid. He needs to work a little bit harder, but he's a fantastic talent, and when he does come on the field, he's such an exciting player, and we love playing with him.
Do you think that versatility is a bit of a string to his bow in maybe putting that selection case forward?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, a lot of players in the front third can play either side. He's two-footed. He can score goals. He can create. But yeah, like I said, at the number 10 role is a lot of physical work, which I think Marco is better at, making sure that he can stay out wide and go 1v1 with players. And but yeah, that's down to the coaches. PK obviously here at City, and Graham Arnold with the Socceroos. So, but yeah, he's a quality player, and he'll only get better as he gets older.
Would it be valuable to have some of these sort of City combinations that you guys have refined over the last little bit in the national setup? Like, is that something that probably, I don't know, could that be helpful, I guess, if you're a selector?
Maybe. If you look at the Socceroos squad currently, or the New Zealand games, there was something like 10 to 12 players that had come through the City academy, obviously played in the City first team together. Nathaniel Atkinson, Connor Metcalf, Denny Jonro, players that don't represent this club anymore, but they do play for the Socceroos, and they've played with guys like myself, Lex, Andy, Tilio. And you can throw Aidan O'Neill's name in the hat there because he's a quality player. Curtis Good. We've all worked under PK at one time. So, there is a good future for these younger boys coming through that have played with each other, and having that connection is important.
Thanks, Jamie.
No worries. Thanks, Jasper.
Couple more off the wall ones. A-League's All Access. You had the cameras in a couple of weeks ago. Is it weird having the cameras in the dressing room? Do you think it changes how people act, even a little bit subconsciously, or do you just forget they're there?
I try to stay away from them as much as possible. You don't want to get sucked into things that aren't your normal routine. Game day, didn't want a bar of it, and just try and focus on things that you do normally. They were there. They weren't in the way or anything like that, but people might have thought that PK was probably putting on an act, but that's what he's like every day, and he had to be himself, and he was himself, and plays around. That's what we're like. We're hard at it every single day, and on game day we don't expect anything less than hard work and hitting teams from the front from the first whistle. So nothing different. There was it's a good insight for what fans can realise, a different side of what we bring and what this club does, and more to come, and I hope it's going to be a great little series.
And A-League Fantasy, it seems like some of the players are actually getting into it. One of the Brisbane Raw boys was top of the pile after a few games. Do you guys have a fantasy league?
No, we don't, mate. I don't know how well that would go with our gaffer. So I know it's a bit of fun with fans and stuff, and you get the messages after games from people that have won some sort of points or whatever, however the point system goes. I don't actually follow it, but it's a good way of getting fans interacted. We do need to get more of that. We need all the bodies and all the eyes watching our game as possible, and if that's a platform that will help, then great.